GM. What's happening, fam? How we feeling? Let's get the screen right. Get the articles off there. I know we're super excited about getting to the news, but we got to do a little intro, little what's up, fam, first. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, guys? Welcome to Web3 Breakfast. Appreciate you guys being here. It is Tuesday, the 10th of October. We are just cruising through October, man. 10 days in already. Sheesh. What's up, Turbo?
Man, you know, just another day. Oh, got a little bit of an echo there, so that's okay. I'm excited to be here. You know what I'm saying? It's Tuesday, man. Today feels more like a Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, I did the whole unmute thing again. I'm going to get it. You know what I mean? How long have I been on this? 2 days? Loving it, man. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. See the crew's assembled. GM, everybody, make sure that we retweet the space. Let's get everybody in here. You know, yesterday, I really want to kind of, continue on the conversation that we had on the Crypto Crossfire show yesterday. It was a kind of a really interesting topic, brought up, balancing mass adoption and decentralization. The underlying question is, is Coinbase good for crypto? And obviously, everybody's going to have their own opinion on Coinbase specifically. But I think that we can further expand on this a little bit more, right? And bring it to more of the whole, what's better for us, having, protocols in place to have a truly decentralized economy, or do we need to, safeguard some things and for the sake of mass adoption, right? Like we talk about this all the time. Like, sometimes you trade, your privacy for conveniences. Is it going to be, the exception here, or is this, we're going to, trade off some of what the ethos of crypto is, to truly, have an ecosystem that's, accepting for everybody, and when I say that, like, we talk about centralized entities, controlling assets, controlling keys, all that kind of stuff. So that's the setup for today. And that'll be the main point of the conversation, but we do have a couple news articles I'd like to get through. Not a whole lot of sexy news in the news stuff today in the news cycle, but let's bring these up. The first one, we were laughing about this one. Seven got a kick out of this when I was reading the information. Alameda sparks controversy by minting $40 billion of USDT. That is 47%, almost 50%, guys, of the circulating supply of Tether. And the manner in which these transactions between Alameda and FTX were definitely, in I think probably all of our opinion, scammy. There's a tweet from a guy named J. Connor Grogan saying on-chain data shows that Alameda was responsible for minting 39.55 billion of the US Tether, a number that is 47% of Tether circulating supply. A previous report by Protos estimated that number around 36 billion. But they found some additional wallets. Absolutely crazy. What do you guys think about this one? Like, is this like just bad news, or what do you think?
We definitely got Matthew. He's running up here. I was like blown away. I'm like, wait a second, mint? What do you mean minting? And then they're like, what is your first day in crypto? I'm like, what? That is absolutely insane. Matthew, what's going on, brother? What do you think about this?
GM fam. So good to be here today with y'all. Hope y'all are having a great day. Awesome show yesterday, Jay, on the Crossfire. What is it? Crypto Crossfire? Is that what it is?
Yep, Crypto Crossfire, yep.
Definitely looking forward. It's a great time for me to join too, so we'll look forward to listening in more. I just like the fact that you brought up Alameda always makes me interested about this case so much, because we do have so much animosity toward the crypto space, and people worried about so much of the scams and all these kinds of things. And the truth is, I say this all the time, the blockchain has never been hacked. People get hacked, their stuff gets stolen, they click wrong links, there's bad actors in the space. This is always going to be the case. There's Bernie Madoff, was in Web 2, right? This is not something that's new. But I have really dove into the Going Infinite book by Michael Lewis about the FTX scandal and about Sam Bankman-Fried. And what's so interesting is to hear his analysis of him as a child, because he used to be a trader at a high-frequency trading firm, and he used to play pranks on people. He used to do stuff like being able to earn money or being able to place bets asymmetrically with new information and didn't. And he seemed like very much the person that would stab you, but then twist the knife a bit. He enjoyed that little twist. So it just doesn't surprise me when I hear all this stuff come out about them minting stuff or giving money to people or anything in that kind of sense. And it's just, the book is really fascinating. Definitely recommend anybody interested in the space just to learn more about how it came about. But totally just, it does not surprise me at all that they would do something like this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the timing is right, especially for this article to come out. We obviously Caroline Ellison is on the stand, I believe, today in the SBF trial. So that is probably going to be one strange afternoon.
Yeah, I just got to the point where they talked about hiring Gary Wang, who testified yesterday, and basically said that their insurance, their quote unquote FTT insurance token, was all bonkers, didn't exist, wasn't anything there to like.
I loved it. I loved every moment of it. He was like, it was all garbage. We just created garbage for everybody to just be thinking everything was fine. That's all they were doing.
And the irony that I find in all of it is that he is known for not speaking. In the book, they're always like, oh, this guy, we couldn't get him to talk. We thought there was something wrong with him, et cetera, et cetera. And he was always talking about never being able to speak. He was really quiet. And then he gets on the stand and just like unloads on all these people. It's amazing.
He must have thought he was in a Twitter space.
Self-preservation for these people.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's just going to turn on this guy. Self-preservation is all they're caring about.
You could tell that he all of his lawyers said, fuck everybody else in this room if you want to make it out alive. And he was like, sure, whatever you need me to say. And he just memorized everything that he was supposed to say.
Well, we'll see how all that goes. Obviously, there are people that are in New York. I know Tiffany Fong, she's one of the group. She's in the group of like, YouTubers and influencers and stuff. So she's like there, like doing some coverage. So, people are there trying to figure out exactly what's going on and let everybody know. So I don't know, tap in for some of those people to see what's going on. There's another article kind of this one's obviously money laundering, right? The Cryptodes thing. Do you guys see this one? Cryptodes NFT sells for $1.6 million in Ethereum.
Oh,
it's just a
fat finger mistake. It's just a fat finger mistake, IRS. I didn't mean to.
I swear. Oh. Yeah, $1.6 million. No, what's the floor on those things? Does anybody know what the floor on Cryptodes are? Or Cryptodes? Here we go. We click a link here. Probably should have had this one figured out before. Let's see here. Cryptodes by Gremplin. Floor is at 0.53.
What?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm literally crying.
That's a return.
Can we check the analytics on that real quick?
Let's see. Did that just totally spike the chart? Oh, absolutely.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Projected 80 ETH now, or 1,000 ETH. There you go.
Let's talk about setting unreal expectations for people in their bags. Jeez Louise.
I had a quick story. When I started NFTconsulting.io, I had somebody call me once to ask me a question about Cryptodes. And this was like right when they started. He says, oh my gosh, I got one of these things. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if I should hold it or whatever. He ended up selling it like way too early, but I just always stuck in my mind that this person called and they were like asking for advice on whether or not they should buy or sell this Cryptode.
Not financial advice. Don't do it.
I did.
Is that going to be like a real thing? Like later, whenever all this is like mass adoption, there'll be like consultants that are like, you should probably just leverage this. It'll be like a different kind of broker. It's just an NFT broker,
like a DeFi, like a DeFi degen broker.
Yeah, like you pull up and you're just like, I got this, like you just pull up and like plug in your wallet and they just look at all the stuff that you got and you're like, so what do I got? And they're like, it's like almost like a pawn shop.
They have those already. They're called tax advisors, and their whole job is just to help people unload their bags and tax loss harvest because that's where everybody is at this point.
But what I'm saying is like I see it being like the crypto side to where you just do the same thing, like the instead of tax loss, it's like crypto loss. Like it's like, dude, I'm all these floors are dead. Like if Turbo took his entire wallet of rugs and gave it to the rug doctor, like it would be like a rug doctor. It'd be like, hey man, like, can you do anything with these? And it'd be like, yeah, man, I got you. And then like 3 days later, you got like $300.
I would love to actually start like a pawn shop like that for NFTs, right? And obviously you can't just buy everything, but the whole idea of it was like, yeah, I'll give you 10% of the floor, give you the cash right now. You have a week to come back, if you needed to get your money back, and then after that, as the service, we could do whatever we want. You know, if we thought that there'd be value later in the future, like just hang on to it, or, you know, put it above the floor or whatever. But yeah, this, you know, give the opportunity to, yeah, like you said, you got a whole wallet full of shit and you just might just get couple $100 for it. It's just like going to, what was that video game? Like GameStop, right? Where you go and you trade in all your old video games, and like you were so excited as a kid. You're like, man, I'm trading in my PlayStation with like 30 games. I'm gonna get like the new system and like the brand new game and all this shit. And then like, you know, you get like $10 and you're like, you asshole. And I thought we were
but you could buy a strategy guide. So
or a game genie.
Yeah.
Oh, the game genie. I had a quick question. Do you think that we could just put like Sam like up for the death penalty for like treason?
No, why? No, make him live. Yeah, make him sit in prison for 110 years.
I was about to say, like, put him in prison and make him work the lowly job of like doing all of like the data entry for for like a hedge fund. Like he has to just sit there and just do all the data entry.
But no internet, no Adderall.
Oh God, he would rather be dead than that, I think.
100%.
But the whole thing, all right, and I don't really want to get into prison reform and all that kind of stuff. But at what point do we say, you know, like there are some people, you know, this whole sitting on you know, jail forever is costing the taxpayers a lot of money. Like, is there something else that we can do other than having to pay for these degenerates and rejects from society that, like, you know, can't help themselves but be shitty human beings?
We should have like an irony council that their whole job is to really like you do things to people that is exactly what they did in reverse or something. So like if you like took all this money from people, then like you have to figure out a way to go turn over rocks and find money to give back to people or something ridiculous like that.
Let's just do Hunger Games. I'm with Turbo.
Hunger Games works too. Or like the
oh my God, prison Hunger Games.
Well, just for like the unreformable, like the bad of the bad.
Like they're going for life and like 3 life sentences.
Yeah, okay, like instead of a life sentence, like the new thing is just like, you know, you're getting sent to the island. So prepare.
I could just see like somebody going to jail for for the night, like being drunk one night and then waking up in the Hunger Games, like what the fuck is going on? And like all you know is you just hear the announcer like there's 100 people in here and it's up to you to be the last one standing. And he's like, man, I was drunk. That's it.
Yeah, but if you win, you get out though. That's kind of the whole thing. You know what I mean? So like you can fight your way out because that way we could sell tickets and pay-per-view and all that stuff, and then we'll be able to capture that money back. But hey, I love, man. What's going on, family? What you thinking?
Hey, great day to y'all. How y'all doing? I hope the vibes sound like they're kicking good. Off good. Prison reform. Yeah, right, man. Like never. Why would they ever want to do anything that's beneficial for their fellow man? Like that you mean actually educate and empower people and teach them skill sets and teach and explain to them on credit how things are leveraged? Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
That would be nice.
It would be. I don't know, man. You know, I've kind of had this conversation. I just had to leave out of the Cardano space. I hate to leave like that. But, you know, all this recent talk of war and, you know, tyranny and this size of terrorists, that size. And I'm like, man, I'm in crypto, man. Like, you know what? Y'all can say what y'all want. This is going to be my world. This is where I'm living in. This because this is the only thing I can focus on and actually control. And this is the only thing that I actually think that would provide an opportunity to stabilize a lot of the impulses, a lot of the things that they incentivize as a reason to take action. You know, so I want to say, GM, to y'all, I see we're talking about balance and mass adoption and decentralization. So I'm just itching to get in a great conversation with some amazing people. If y'all hadn't already, make sure y'all retweet the room.
There we go.
Yeah, because you know what was crazy about that conversation yesterday, Jay, was Ben's question, right? Like his whole thing when he was like, you know, where do we put our value? Is our value in ownership? Or is our in security and, you know, the whole like ethos of decentralization, or are we putting the value into onboarding, right? Because like through that whole conversation about Coinbase, man, like I was really kind of stuck where I'm like, bro, I literally sent money to a wrong place when I first started, and I called Coinbase and they got my money back. You know what I'm saying? And that could be a pivotal moment for someone, whether they're going to adopt the technology or just walk away and throw their hands up and say, it's not for me.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, like that, you have to consider that the cost of the education, right? And honestly, like I see both sides of the argument. Like it makes sense, right? Like at one point, yeah, it's great, to onboard some people, but you should never, ever, ever have all your coins on a centralized exchange. I mean, we've been preaching that for years, and so even people like my mom, like I love you, mom, but like got to get your stuff off Coinbase, and you've got even people that because it's FDIC insured, like that gives them the security. Well, that's a false sense of security. The FDIC is not going to help you. Are you going to call them and say, hey, my crypto's gone? They're not going to do shit. And I know that there have been some people successfully, have, Coinbase help them out and stuff. But at the same time, it does go against the ethos now. Again, I understand the argument of, hey, this is really great for people, but there are other options, right? Like, you could use Cash App, for example, right? You could use PayPal if you have a personal account, not a business account. I think you can use Venmo and stuff too. So it doesn't have to be Coinbase, because the whole point is if you're using it as an on-ramp and an off-ramp, again, there's other options you can use, and you never want to store your coins there. And if, you're familiar with using a decentralized exchange, or if you need to learn how to use a decentralized exchange, I mean, that's what this time is for, as we lead into the build market. It was a lead up to the bull market, and as we start to bring more people into the space and invite them into Web3, like I think, that messaging of, there are other options other than, these centralized entities. But if you have to use it, great. If it is just that, intermediary between your bank and the crypto ecosystem, wonderful, but just don't keep your shit on it.
And just the majority of the offboarding, getting our crypto back into cash, those are mostly centralized entities, right? There's a couple that are kind of sketch or whatever that look like that, but I mean, like to get it back into cash, we're going to have to use that centralized.
Well, Seth was saying, there's an ATM. I forget the name of it. I mean, we could probably figure it out and be able to post it somewhere. But there is some Bitcoin ATM where it's all over here in the United States. There is no KYC. You can just go from your Bitcoin and it'll actually kick you out cash. And so there are options now. I don't think they're for everybody or widely available to everybody, but there are other. Go ahead, Matthew.
I was going to say it's also a publicly traded company, which is pretty cool. I have a small position in it. It's only about, I think, $1 or $2 a piece, but it's called Bitcoin Depot.
Yes,
and they have the largest set of Bitcoin ATMs in the world, and I don't know how well it's run. I don't know anything really about the financials. It's just a very inexpensive stock that I was like, oh, if I want to be part of the ecosystem from a Web2 perspective, this is how I would go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Picks and shovels.
I mean, that's the theme of where we're at right now is picks and shovels, man. If you don't get that, look it up. You know what I mean?
It's a Gold Rush reference.
Yeah, the guys who sold picks and shovels probably did better than the guys who went out there and dug for days and never found anything. And you always feel bad, and not really feel bad, but there's that meme, right, where there's the two guys digging for diamonds, and the one is just like so freaking close to like hitting that jackpot and just misses it, turns around, gets frustrated, whereas the guy who just kept working, kept building, and kept digging.
Yeah, but the guy who sold that pick and axe is making off like a bandit because he sold to two people, and now he doesn't have to worry about the circumstances.
And he didn't have to put in any hard work. All he had to do was be there. Right? Is that right place, right time?
What I was thinking about with as you were saying that was that there's like a big story about a guy who was looking for a gold mine, and he stopped. And when he took in to sell all of his equipment, the pawn guy loved like stones and like reading the maps. And so the guy sells all of his equipment to him, of course, for like a percentage of what he paid for it. And the guy looks at his maps and he realizes that he was like on a fault line and he just needed to go one more foot off. And so that the pawn shop guy goes one more foot and finds the biggest gold mine ever in U.S. history.
Dang, that's a real story?
Oh, it's a real story. Yeah, you know what? And that goes about grit, focus, and determination. Jay Chains, I called you last night, got to see the little one.
Mm-hmm.
It goes about that focus, bro. And when you're laser focused in on something, right, and those efforts become the key to whatever goal it is at the end. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I tell people, you got an idea, great. Put the idea in motion. Well, I don't know what to do. Well, that's the first thing. That's a great way to look at it, because not knowing what to do means that you got to find out, how do I get it done? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so that's just my take on it.
There was something I was reading or I was listening to this morning, and that was actually one of the things that that little podcast thing. I was using a new AI tool to create some podcasts to see how they did, and this one that it created a podcast for us. But one of the things it was talking about is that we should be lifelong researchers, right? Like the one skill that we really do learn in school. You know what I'm saying? That no one teaches us how important it is, or even how to do it at that point. You know what I'm saying? If we would put some time into research and learning how to do your own research, I think that could definitely be something huge. It's a skill that we've all been given, but we don't use.
So okay, so then how does that fit into this conversation? You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean that like an ass or anything, but like, so how then do we, as far as, what you were just talking about, bring that, about mass adoption, but still try to keep that ethos of decentralization?
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's really where I was so stuck yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm just like, I get both sides, right? Like we have a group of people, right? And two, right? When we talk about like knowing how to research, it's not just going to Google and like everybody's like, oh, I know how to do that. No, it's like being able to verify that this information that you're receiving, is actually valid, true information. You know what I'm saying? So it's a multi-step situation. And I think that's why, people lean to things like Coinbase, right? Like if I don't have to know everything, I can still participate. You know what I'm saying? I have a level of comfort, that's there. I mean, if they get wrecked in the end of it all, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like, is it one of those things where it's like, we're going to get wrecked anyway, either way? You know what I mean? Like, we kind of have to hope that Coinbase allows through like time and maturity and education in the space. They would, like I don't keep anything on Coinbase. I bring everything through Coinbase because that's how I've learned. Like, that's my comfortability. If I want to buy a token, like I go through Coinbase, and mainly just because Crow screwed me so many times, like at the crypto.com exchange with Crow. I have tons of Crow that's sitting out there that's attached to other freaking tokens that cost me like $60 to $80 to bridge it back to whatever the token is. And by the time I pay the bridge, like I have $13. I just left it there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, those tokens are dead.
I mean, that's...
See, I know for me, for example, like, I think crypto's a journey. I think you get into it and you start with like centralized exchanges. And if you stick around, you start learning the value of self-custody and you start transitioning over there. But I think onboarding, getting more people onboarded will just increase the chances of people sticking around and getting down that rabbit hole to do the research and to start learning the value of, like, for me, I was an Ethereum miner, and then Ethereum went to proof of stake, and then I started studying Bitcoin. And then I learned the values of self-custody. And I think people stick around. The more people onboarded will be a more percentage of people sticking around to help move the space.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, that is one of the, I think the main argument, right? Is that it literally just helps so much with the onboarding part of it. And then if you continue, or if you want to continue your journey through this ecosystem, obviously, you can, pick up more of the advanced stuff like, decentralized exchanges and more of the self-custody that, really is what this is meant for. But at the end of the day, like whatever is the easiest, because that's half the battle, right? And that's what we've been saying is like in order for us to truly reach mass adoption, and what is mass adoption, right? Like, is it a specific number you're looking for? It's the critical mass, right? So like in order for us to truly reach that, we just need to be using this tech without having to explain it to everybody, for Christ's sake. Like, we don't talk about the internet and how the internet works anymore. That's just, that's the only, I think that's, and I know that example's played out, but literally that's the only one that, that I think makes sense to a lot of people, because that was the big tech. Like, we don't talk about, how does your cell phone work? Or, it's just, it works and you just expect it to work. And like crypto just needs to work and we need to expect it to work. And you don't have to talk about it. Once we get there, that's how we know we've done it. And we don't have to, I don't know. I love the whole idea of we've got an entry point, and then if you want to take your education further, if you want to take your experience further in this ecosystem, you can do that. That's like the free will of this whole thing. But at the end of the day, not your keys, not your cheese, and that includes your NFTs. Got a couple hands. Let's get to them.
Yeah, we got a new guest here actually. OX Xena, welcome to Web3 Breakfast.
GM.
We appreciate having you.
Hi guys, what's up?
Hey.
I always make the mistake of joining spaces while I'm working and being like, hey, I'm just gonna chill in the crowd and I'm just gonna listen, and and then the conversation turns into something where I'm like sitting here talking to myself and being like, oh hey, no, like this, and this. And so here I am on your stage. Super cool space. I'm loving the conversation so far, and I love I think Jay changed your perspective on mass adoption, and my perspective is the same. Coming from a product design background, I feel like we will have only reached the point of mass adoption when we're using crypto and decentralized systems without even knowing that we're using them, without having to worry about the inner workings or even have to educate people on the inner workings, when the barrier to entry is so seamless that it's as simple as signing up for a PayPal account or anything like that. Like you never wonder what's going on the back end of your credit card and how many times that money is being bounced around to different banks around the world, and you have no idea. But like with crypto, we're not even I think close to that just yet. I think a big part of what's kind of going to speed that up is when people start to focus more on problem solving and not just launching projects for the sake of launching projects, because there's a shit ton of that going on. But I mean, it's all part of growing, I guess. It's all part of like expanding the space, and these are things that are going to happen. Like trends have to happen, people have to be interested in them for it to grow, essentially. But I do think we need to shift into the mindset of problem solving, and create and focus on more solutions that actually benefit the space, rather than just hey, mint my NFT and then mint my second collection of my NFT, and oh look, it's another season of the same goddamn NFT. Like it happens all the time. But yeah, thank you for giving me the mic. I have a horrible habit of hogging it, and yeah, thanks for having me up on your space, man.
Oh, absolutely. You're always welcome up here, and that goes for everybody, right? We like to pride ourselves on saying Web3 Breakfast is a show for the community by the community, right? Above all, Turbo and I, we are Web3 community members, and so we extend that same kind of ethos to the show. So everybody's welcome on the stage. We didn't go over the rules this morning, which is okay because we're getting ready to do our workout, so we can always play the song that has kind of the deal built into it. But guys, remember, this is Web3 Breakfast. Everybody is welcome to come up on stage. All you got to do is request the mic and we'll bring you on up. We just got the one rule: don't be a douchebag. And it's no racist, sexist, or homophobes. Other than that, you are more than welcome to come up on stage and be a part of the conversation. I know we got two hands, AI Love and Biscuit. Do you guys want to address your questions or comments now or after the workout?
I'll be quick if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
I came up, I was actually in the shower when you said it, but the first thing I wanted to say is I was hoping Craig would be in the room for this, but they already tried Prison Hunger Games. It was called Australia, and it's working out pretty good so far.
Hang on one second.
Also, on the onboarding side of things, my question to you guys, and it's a serious question, is why do you feel like you need to be onboarding? If you have faith in crypto and what crypto is, what is it about crypto that says that you're the person who needs to be bringing new people in? When cell phones came out and you got a cell phone, were you like, oh my God, I need to get other people to use cell phones so this technology moves forward? That's just not how it works. But for some reason, we feel like we need to do that. And to what OX was just talking about, if we want crypto to develop that way, then we need to make it so the only people investing in it aren't the people trying to make money off it. We need to figure out some way to get the government to get universities involved in developing systems for crypto that aren't about profit.
That's a great question.
All right, we got the question posted. Just so you know, We will be back after a quick workout break. Remember, we've got to have healthy minds, healthy bodies, and healthy portfolios. This is the workout break. So if you're seated down and you can stand up, go for it. Remember, you got to get that heart rate pumping, that blood going, and we will be back to answer that question. And that's where we'll navigate the second part of the discussion today. Why do you feel like you need to bring people into Web3? Here is a little song to get the blood flowing.
Golly. I got eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Web3 breakfast, Jay James is the host. Good morning. What's up, Jay James? Turbo made it co-hosting, yeah, they do their thing. If you savvy Web3, GM, grab a plate and a seat. Let's begin. If you got something to say, come and grab a mic. We got one rule, no douchebags, alright? Retweet the room, bring some friends. If you start to talk, you gon' stay to the end. Retweet the room, bring some friends. If you start to talk, you gon' stay to the end. Monday through Friday, we got the Sorrow. 10 a.m. Eastern Spaces with the purpose. All about the community focus, they deserve it. Come and speak your mind with no regrets, but you serve us. Pizza on Friday, working off midway. Get the blood pumping, Web3 music is thumping. I got eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Web3 breakfast, Jay James is the host. The most. Retweet the room, bring some friends. If you start to talk, you gon' stay to the end. Retweet the room, bring some friends. If you start to talk, you gon' stay to the end. Good morning.
Oh, yeah. Good morning. You feeling good? You got that blood pumping now? Healthy minds, healthy bodies, and pretty soon some healthier portfolios. Coming to you soon in 2024 when the next bull run is getting ready to melt your face.
Get ready to get your face melted off. Man, why do you feel like you need to bring people into Web3?
Well,
that's a great question.
Question. We'll get to that in just a second. I definitely want to get to AI Love and Corey's hand because we have
yes.
So let's go AI Love first because he was before the break, and then we'll swing on to Corey, and then we will answer B-Skeet's question.
All right. I mean, well, initially, we were just really talking about like the balance between the mass adoption and decentralization, right? And I mean, of course, there's going to be we'll transition. Like there's going to be it's a transition, right? So just look at where we were trying to go, which is Web3, right? Which is a decentralized network. And then where we're currently at, right? And knowing that there's a transitional process. So what are things that are going to make it easy? We were talking about things like tech, right? User interfaces, things being more sleek to the point to where the user does not really know or understand that there's actually a technical application behind it. And then, of course, education. Like, how are we ever going to grow and how are we going to adopt if we don't focus on, like, our education? And the message of the power of centralized entities, decentralized entities, and then we need to be able to handle the workload. We can't even, we want to talk about where we're currently at. Most of the blockchains out here couldn't even really handle the workload of millions of newer users right away, right? So we still got to scale to that degree. Understanding how the technology works, like things of governance, interoperability, working amongst other chains, right? And the future interface of that. So from, my personal take and my personal sentiment, if you want to know like ways to balance it, those are the primary things we got to kind of like channel in and focus on. But at the forefront of it all, I would have to say what's most important to anybody in life is having an understanding of what it is that you're dealing with, and that is derived through education. And it's a huge reason why I decided I wanted to bring my voice and my personality type to Web3 and use it as a form of transitioning and onboarding people into the technologies, right? Because there are capabilities and certain features that can be done with the use of smart contracts that are more or less barbaric in a sense, right? Because if the technology exists, then why aren't we applying it? And I think that over resoundingly puts me in as an advocate, having a voice and having my experience and being able to relate to the people that I relate with. That's a powerful tool, especially when you're talking about onboarding users. Users need to have landing grounds. It wouldn't make sense for someone in China to land in here and try to understand our conversation unless they knew English, right? So we have to start thinking with those mindsets of needing to have key sort of individuals and figures and standalone creatures, right, with these different personality types and highlighting them, and so that's like a huge goal while I'm here in Web3. I feel like I'm one of those guys. I know I am.
Nice. I love your message, AI, and I'm really excited about how we're going to be able to start to elevate things very, very quickly here. And man, I'll tell you what, you've got it, man. You've got the right messaging. You've got the right mindset, and your ability to connect with people is unparalleled in my opinion. So man, let's freaking go. Thank you for being here, Corey. What you got for us today?
Hey, GM. I'm still a little winded from the workout.
Good.
Nah, I was just gonna say I don't know if it's the bear market or whatnot, but I'm pretty pessimistic on the mass adoption aspect. Without decentralization, I can't see, mass adoption happening without people technically being forced into it. Yeah.
So you think like centralization is really going to play a key role into this, and you got to think like, with the gaming aspect of it, and here's my take, right? Here's kind of like my take at the end of the day, as far as gaming goes, and I know some big games are coming, but it seems like everyone seems to just be waiting for the Sonys and the Microsofts to make their splash. What the fuck are you waiting for? Why are you fucking waiting? Like that's the point. Like, Corey, like we talk about how gaming is going to be the biggest, it's going to be one of the, the biggest catalysts for mass adoption, right? Unfortunately, it's going to come from centralized entities. It's not going to come from a decentralized game. And I think that,
So I think my point was onboarding people is kind of pointless in my opinion.
Well,
this is how they get caught with their pants down. This is how they get caught with their pants down.
Yep. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, man. Enjoying some Web3 breakfast show. Man, I know you guys got a lot of content to release to the community, and just a lot of things you learned and built with building with others to release to the community. Matt, I wish we'd have had you there with us. And but no, Jay Chains is right. It's going to come from the centralized entities or the big players, because just right now it just seems like as everyone's waiting, that's just what's going to happen. We watched it happen with .com. We watched it happen in the smartphone race. You think there's not brands out there that have smartphones that are probably better, but people just don't know or care about them because they waited too late to push their idea. And it's the same thing with games. There's lots of great, potential AAA products. There's lots of great Web3 games that are quote unquote building, but sitting around waiting for your community to turn into millions and things like that is not the way to go, because you're going to get caught with your pants down by entities that could just make a tweet and make you go away. And what are you doing to appeal to the crowd that needs to come over to give you that massive community size you're looking for? We need to stop trying to appeal to those that already exist in the space and appeal to those we're trying to bring to the space.
That's that's the whole
Preaching
thing.
To the choir.
Yeah, no, preaching to the choir for sure. And to like, all right, so we got to get through one more hand, and then I want to get, really, more in depth. Me personally, and I think some of us, I like, Turbo, we want to get into answering this question. But Zach, what do you got? What you got for us, my man? GM.
Morning, guys. Sorry, I'm stuck in traffic, so I'm all cussing at everybody. But I was thinking kind of what AI Love was saying. It goes along with why I kind of got into the whole investing space. I I was doing DoorDash. I was a DoorDash driver, and I was trying to figure out how to do taxes because there is no good information on how to do taxes as a 1099 worker. And so I figured out like little bits and pieces here and there. And once I finally figured it all out, I was like, dude, like I'm a nobody, but I feel like I need to share this information. So I made a video of the whole process of how I figured out how to do taxes. And then I started learning about all these tax breaks and different things that you can do if you're a business owner and all this stuff that I had never been taught, I had never heard of before. And it pissed me off. And I was like, dude, what the hell? You know, like there's all this stuff, there's all these things that if you own a business, you can get all these tax breaks, you can save so much money, do all of this stuff. And this is really how people are making money in the world. And I was like, they never teach us that in school because they train us to become cogs in the gears to make this society for the elites. And we're just supposed to be the doctors, the soldiers, the engineers to make their world a better place. So the more I learned, the more pissed off I got. And I was like, there's so many other people that are just like me that have no idea about any of this stuff. So then learning about crypto, it's like a fast track to getting into that kind of stuff. And going back to kind of stocks and stuff, I was thinking about what you guys were talking about on the Crypto Crossfire show yesterday. And I feel like the reason that so many people get caught up in these centralized entities is because their experience in investing comes from stocks. Well, with stocks, you can't pull your Tesla stock off of Fidelity and hold it in your own wallet. That just doesn't exist. And so people moving into crypto, they don't understand that it's different. They don't understand that it's like a commodity. I mean, I think in some of the futures markets, I don't remember exactly, but there's some places where technically if you really wanted to, you could convert your commodities into actual commodities and you could have them shipped to you, but there's no purpose really. But nobody does that. And the crypto is totally new for a lot of people. And another thing too is most investors are usually older, more seasoned people, and a lot of them don't even know how to use cell phones. So how are they going to understand that this digital commodity, something they can't tangibly touch or feel, they don't understand. They could take it off and put it in some wallet. And so I think that there's got to be a good balance between centralization and decentralization. And there'll come to a point where the centralized entities will be insured kind of like the brokerages are now, you know, Fidelity and Charles Schwab. And so people who are investors in crypto can keep their investments in a brokerage type setting and feel more comfortable with it there. But also, you know, I think a lot of the gamers are going to end up being more like the decentralized players. You know, some of them will get in there and say, "Oh, I can take this part of this game and I can transfer it somewhere else." And so, I do think there has to be a balance of both. And kind of going on with what Beaskeet was saying too. I personally am not trying to onboard people. I guess I do like how we had mentioned inviting people, and I think the reason why I invite so many people is because of the opportunity to take part in a new technology that is emerging, which is crypto, and also the ability to change their financial standings. Because a lot of people, you know, like I go to work every day, my 9 to 5, and I hate it. You know, go fix cars, and I'm pissed off all the time. Come home, all pissed off, stressed out, worn out, and I wish somebody had shown me when I was younger how to invest, how to make my money work for me instead of me having to take my time and trade my time in to make money. And so all of these things that I had never learned, I was never taught in school, I just got super pissed off. And I was like, man, you know, like if I can share this with a couple people and help people with the same questions I had find answers through my own mistakes, it's totally worth it. So I just wanted to pop in and throw in my 2 cents.
Well, that was a good couple Satoshis, man. I appreciate that, and I think, you know, a lot of us are probably maybe starting to think a little bit more about this. And Beastkid, you know, I appreciate you asking the question. You know, thought-provoking things like this are fantastic. You know, like why do we feel like we need to bring people into Web3? And Zach, I love your answer. But I guess at the end of the day, like, you know, is it our responsibility to make sure that, you know, that people's financial freedom is something that they can achieve? I'd like to say yes. You know, I would like to say that, you know, as a community of people, like us specifically, right? Like a community of people like us who, you know, in some way, shape, or form, you know, it's a ragtag bunch of people that all came together for a common good that is, whether it's, you know, crypto, blockchain, NFTs, making money, changing the world, it doesn't matter. We're all here and we're all kind of getting in where we fit in. And I just, you know, the whole idea of, you know, is it our job to bring people in? I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? And I think that applies to a lot of things. But at the end of the day here, I would like to say that I would like to bring as many horses to the trough to drink as much fucking water as possible. And if they choose not to drink the water, that's their problem and that's their deal. Like, to each their own. But, you know, if it's something that we can do as a community, me as an individual, Chain Labs as an organization, you know, some DAO that we form, it doesn't matter. If we can change, you know, a handful of lives for the better, like, at the end of the day, like, that's not going to make me sleep better at night. But I know that, you know, we'll have a group of people that, you know, are better off than when they started. And so, you know, that's a great question, Beastkid. Like, it makes you really, really kind of question, like, what are we doing? Like, why are we doing this? Why is someone else's financial, you know, well-being or, you know, financial stability or freedom, why is it our business? It's not our business. But again, it's the whole thing I can think of is it's going to change our lives for the better. So why can't we introduce more people to it so that their life can change for the better? But at the end of the day, it's just it's human nature.
Yeah,
if you're a kind person, you're a kind person, and maybe that's just, you know, how you feel in your heart. I don't know. I love it. Let's talk about it though.
That's what I was thinking too. Like you said, like, bring the horse to the water. I think, like, for me, example, I had no idea that there was water. Like, you know, I'm sitting there freaking thirsty, and I had no idea there was water. So
that's a great metaphor.
Like you were saying, like, just introduce them. Say, hey, you know, there's this opportunity, and teach them about the opportunity. And then if they want to drink or not, that's up to them.
And that's why we talk about.
Say no.
Absolutely. And Ardo, you can go next on this. And that's why we talk about inviting people into Web3 versus onboarding. Because again, this is not McDonald's. You didn't just get hired and you got to watch a couple training videos now. Like, you know, this is an invitation into an ecosystem that's going to make you better, or at least hope. I mean, some people end up being worse, but it should, if you do things right, and, you know, you do your research and you stick to your strategies and all that stuff, you know, like, you will be all right. And so that's where we are with that. Let's get to some of these hands, because I know you know, we're getting close to the end here. Plus, we got some news. So, Corey, I believe you had your hand first. We'll go Corey, Mesquite, and then AI Love.
Hey, I just wanted to apologize if I sounded like I was shitting on, like, legitimate projects and Final Frontier talk. It made me think.
No,
I meant not these you know, projects that are setting foundations in the space.
Yeah, no. I don't think anybody took offense to that.
No, I didn't take it that way at all, brother. It's you know, I try to provoke thought, right? You know, we just talked about the, like, you know, bringing the horse to the water, but instead of just bringing them to the water, and like Zach's case, show them that water is there. Why don't we drink some of the water ourselves and show them that the water is safe to drink? Why do we focus so much on everything being on the front end and put it on the back end and make that the ease of use, but also ease of access, right? Why have to buy a $500 NFT to play a game? Why have to buy a $1,500 NFT to play a game? Instead, it's just being able to play the game, and the NFT is something I can earn or buy on the back end, just like you can buy skins or something creative in these regular console games. Make it on the back end. The front end should be the enjoyable ease of use access experience. The back end can be all of the enjoyables.
Yes, and at the end of the day, and we've talked about this before, and I think joining the clubs, right? Let's put this into perspective, like, and I'll use my mutant. Let's use some numbers, kind of as an example, right? I paid what, like $20,000 for my mutant when I bought it, right? Somewhere around there. I think it's worth like 6 or 7 right now, something. I'm not even checking the floor. And so, like, when we think about this, like, that's the shock value that will keep people out of this ecosystem. Is if you're going to spend an X amount of dollars to join a specific club so that you can reap the rewards of it, right? I get at some point, as whether it's an NFT drop, whether it's the other deeds, this other stuff that they're doing, or you get some coins, or you get to go to 8Fest, right? Like, there's all these things, and so maybe that was really attractive to you, and or some people, and now they see like, oh shit, like that's from that kind of money to where it's at now, like that's not for me, like I can't stomach that, like. So I think we need to start finding ways to make the ecosystem not about the financial gain of it or the speculation on the price. And so if it's truly about joining a club and being a part of it, like, then let's make it about that versus like these NFTs that go from $30,000 up to like $500,000 in a matter of months, because that's not a ride that unless you were in on it and you made a shitload of money, that's not a ride anybody wants to take. No one wants to take that. That's just instability and volatility that. That's the kind of thing that causes people to lose like everything. So, and I think we're getting there, right? We've talked about the PFP craze of what if NFTs were just the beta test. Right now, we know we did it. We went through a whole season of it. We know that if you're a bozo, you're going to lose your shit. If you're smart and you don't give up your keys, you're going to be fine. And so that's that whole. I think that's starting to maybe give us a clear indication of this whole mass adoption versus decentralization is like self-custody. It's great and wonderful for some people, but not everybody, and that's the balancing act. And I think it's at the end of the day, it's about education. How do we educate people? And some of us, this is our job, is to educate people. So I don't feel like I need to bring people into the space. I just feel like if people are coming into the space and they happen to click on a Web3 breakfast video, or they happen to click on the space to listen and tune in, that they're getting the right information and it makes more sense to them. If you don't want to come into Web3, great, that's your prerogative. But if you do want to be here, we want to help you through your journey. And I think, to answer your question at the end of the day, that's my answer, B-Skeet, is that, yes, I feel like I want to bring people into the space, but at the end of the day, it's more important to bring them in the right way than have them here, just to have them here. I don't want to just bring many people into Web3 so that, we have, 1,000 people listening to our space, or, so that we're, checking off all the right things, analytics. Like, no. Like, we want to bring people into the space so that they can change their life. And if that means, we're sharing them with 7 other communities, great, wonderful. That's what we need. It's collaboration.
I just like bringing people in for the extra liquidity.
Exactly, dude. That's my point. Like, I love that idea that we're bringing people in to onboard, to help people and to help them find a future. But I fear that a lot of why people think they're bringing people into the space is so that they can pump bags and bring more people into the space, which brings in more liquidity, which makes the space grow.
I'm not dragging them into no degenerate.
I totally hear you, but let me finish real quick. So, but that's what I fear is what a lot of people were doing. Yeah. They were trying to bring people into the space, to grow their bags. And my point is, if you are enjoying, the reason we're still here isn't because bags are growing, because bags are shrinking right now, and we're still here, and we're still having fun, and we're still enjoying each other, and like really enjoying the space. So that's what we need to be selling. Like, the bring a horse to water metaphor is great, but you don't need to bring the horse to water or make it drink. What you need to do is be hydrated and flourishing and moisturized and enjoying the space. Drink the water. They will onboard if they see you being hydrated, if they see you flourishing. Oh, that's my underlying point.
That's great. Because you can show them the water, but you could be dehydrated yourself. And what are you doing at the end of the day? Is that hypocrisy, or maybe that's maybe a little bit strong of a word, but I like where you're going with that, B-Skeet. I think that go ahead.
I think it should be like a pool party. Like, I think we should be throwing a pool party, and then them seeing us having a good time and going, hey guys, what are you guys doing? And then if they want to have the good time and join us, then they can. And if they don't, like, I love that B-Skeet like brought this up, because when I was onboarded into the space, I drove to NFT NYC of 2022 because I wanted to just figure the shit out. and we were playing kickball with like the Outside Collective and the Dead Fellas, and regular people were coming and joining us, like, what are you guys doing? And like asking questions and stuff. And I thought that was just normal. Like, I thought that was just like a, I thought it was like a normal thing in the space. But, getting deeper into the space, I see how gatekeepy it is, and how much people like try to like, prey on people. And it's kind of hard to get that mentality when the pool party has snakes in the pool too.
Hey, can we have a pool party?
Victor, what you got for us, man?
Oh, what's up, GM guys? How are you living? I feel like I just came in right on time. Sounds like everybody's having like a feel good moment, like, and then came together. That's what's up. But yeah, I was looking at your post, and I was like seeing that there was almost like this kind of like natural kind of like leaning towards like putting a split between like mass adoption and decentralization. Like the two things are like counterintuitive when I don't really think that they are. Like, I just think it's just a matter of like doing the things that like, Beasky was just talking about. Like, it's like we've kind of been thrown for this huge PFP kind of like fever dream train that, I think has a lot of great qualities, especially like obviously the community building qualities and like the organizational qualities, should there be any of them. But like, I think that at the end of the day, once the platforms start coming out, like, there's a platform out there right now that no one even knows about called Keat. That's like is completely decentralized. It's completely peer-to-peer. So this means that like, and it's on a hive, and so that means like anyone who's using it, they're basically hosting their own information at any given time, and like it's just out and about, and it's free, and you can even give each other Bitcoin on it like right now, and no one even talks about it. Like, it's been out for like years, and yeah, it's just like the kind of thing where it's like, we're not like everything. It's just like everyone's talking about. Like, we're already in this kind of phase of like we have to acknowledge the fact that we've allowed this space to become a kind of numbers game. Like how you were just saying before, Change, how like it's just like we don't want people coming here 1,000 spaces so the numbers look good, but there's no substance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, that's just kind of what that is currently the situation that we have. We have to accept that, and we have to really kind of just start like it's like there's, like I said, there's things out there that are so useful to each other that we could be utilizing right now, like this peer-to-peer decentralized social media thing, that if everyone just started using it, it would literally just like do away. Like you can stream on that shit, you can screen share, you can have Zoom meetings, you can have multiple people in there at once, all this other stuff, and no one's using it. It doesn't exist. And so like it's just about like really kind of getting the awareness out for like useful products that are already in existence that like we need to start kind of just like shifting over towards. Like, we're still here on Twitter, even though like we're complaining about its existence every day. And we're acting as though there's just nothing out there in the world that we could possibly do besides like congregate here. And that's just not the case,
I feel that, man. I trust me. I feel you. One day we'll get it all squared away. I appreciate you being in here. You had me fooled with the new account, but once you started speaking, man, I know exactly who you are.
Who I was, yeah. We was picking it because it was so funny. What NFTNYC, man. It's like such a good. That was a beautiful experience right there in its own right last year that we had. It was like that kind of thing being more present and more prevalent. We shouldn't be waiting every year kind of to have like these kind of meetups and things. Oh, yeah. Like, because that for me, if I didn't go to NFTNYC this year, I probably would be having way less enthusiastic about being in Web3 right now than I am right now. Seeing all you guys and hanging out with you guys completely cemented the fact that I know that I now don't know there's decent human beings in the space, despite whatever this space does.
100%, man. And that's one of the key takeaways with going to a live event around this time in the market cycle is you find real people here that are in it for all the right reasons, and you will truly find some people that you connect with, that you vibe with, that they're your people. We're all finding them right now. Like, that's just how it works, man. AI, let's go AI, Dougie, and then final, and then we're going to take it out for the day.
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Jay Chains, for hosting yet another amazing space. And actually trying to tackle the real questions that matter, right? The questions that push the space forward. So, I'm just grateful to be around, man, and kick it with y'all, man. It's always a joy. It's Web3. Keep this in mind, man. We're all we got, right? Be the change that you want to see. I tell people this every day. And I say it because I mean it. You know, we have questions and we debate, but know one thing for sure and two things for certain. As long as you're playing your part and doing what you have to do, it'll come together.
I feel that. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Dougie, what you got?
Oh, you know, as we whittle down all the people that are not true believers and we have all the people left that just, you know, we keep whittling away. It's like a diamond until you just have like one person left. That's just the ultimate true believer, J Chains. You know what I'm saying? I just, I spend my free time looking at Reddit and all the places of people that have left Web3 and asking them like, what's their dealio? You know, like, what do you not like about Web3? And they have lots of really great answers. But the real thing is, J Chains, is we got cake and we got friends. And everyone should be working on their skills and leveling up and improving their building skills, their communication skills, their networking skills. No matter if you're in Web3 or Web2, like be valuable and do things that are valuable to people and things that you love to do. And Web3 is pretty cool. But what if I go to Web 3.5 or Web 1 or whatever's going on, you know, be valuable and be quality, because a lot of the people left because they were seeing like that it was like oversaturated, a lot of scammers and stuff, and it scares people away. And I understand that because it can be real scary. It's like, you know, when Tom Cruise is in those movies and he's jumping from plane to plane and stuff. Only so many people can do that, Turbo and J Chains. Not everyone can handle the plane to plane jumps.
That's true.
You know, when the torpedo's coming at me, I run at the torpedo, J Chains. So just remember that, you guys. Like that's the kind of situation we're in right now.
I'm telling you, Dougie, like you hit the nail on the head right there. There is only one way to stop a torpedo, and that is to run full steam right at it. It's either going to work or it's not. Yeah, you got a 50% chance. Ardo.
That's right.
Yeah, we had a great discussion today. One of the things I would like to see is continuation of those discussions, right? They have to become prevalent in order for the masses to catch on to what we're talking about. We had the opportunity, myself and Jay Chains, to sit in a private, intimate setting and talk with one of the masterminds behind some of the greatest media and entertainment products in the world. And one of the things she talked about is entry points. If you were to take a game like, you know, Star Wars or something like that, did you come into it because of the game? But were there movies? Were there TV shows? Were there cartoons? Were there Legos? Were there action figures, comics, wearables? Right? There was lots of entry points. And when you think about some of these products, even Call of Duty, there are so many entry points that some people aren't coming in just because of the game. Maybe they went to a festival. Maybe they watched a cartoon. They watched something, or they did come to the party and saw that J Chains was having a great time, and they partook in it as well. And so I think that is a very, very valid point she made. As we are building our projects out, as we are partaking in some of these projects, and we can give our opinions on them. What are the entry points outside of I need this in order to play this?
Yep. No, that's a fact. And really quick fact check. It was not a party. It was a networking event. Just right. So we're all clear. We do networking events.
Clear.
We do networking events. Just kidding. Love you guys. What a show. What'd you think, Turbo? Did we answer our question?
You know, Jay, I can't speak to it right now.
I think you may be muted.
Oh, sheesh.
We'll get you.
I cannot. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. You know, I think that at the end of it all, you know, it comes down to, you know, like I think everybody made some great points, bro. When it comes to like, you know, taking the horse to water, you know, you don't have to make it drink. The one thing that, you know, really stuck out to me was how we communicate to people, right? If you are here right now, you're more than likely an innovator. You know what I'm saying? And we're looking for people, adopters, and we're looking, you know, for the next wave to come through the cycle. And so we're going to have to talk to them differently. They're going to have different expectations. They're going to have different learning points. So the moment that we're able to change how we communicate is going to be the moment that we're truly going to keep this thing moving forward.
Let's go, man. Let's get that communication up. Let's keep moving it forward. And for Christ's sake, the whole goal of crypto is decentralization. So while we do have to make it easier for people to get in here, It goes against the whole ethos. So we got to find a way. We got to find a way. If there's a will, there is a way. One day we'll get there. But I do understand. Remember, I understand the importance of getting people in here. But like B-Skeet said, is it our job? Let's keep the conversation going. See you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern for more Web3 Breakfast. We are, just so you guys know, starting next week, we're going to be an hour earlier. We got to change the schedule around to do some things. So the show will start at 9 a.m. Eastern starting next week. So be ready for that. But we'll continue at 10 for the rest of this week. I know, apologies to all my left coast lovers, but it is what it is, baby. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Let's get it.